Hello, how are you doing? So thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's been a weird few days where one of my videos have been recommended on the homepage. So that LICC video nearly has 100,000 views, and also I got a message saying Matt is on fire. I sent you a channel link to most of my Discord servers, got you to 1k subs, so that's also a contributing factor, so a massive thank you for that. It's very validating. I think there's also a lot of discussion on the LICC video, mostly how I did it, which is understandable because I think making anything in this way via notation software is probably quite unorthodox. And I wanted to clarify some things about how I made it, but unfortunately I can't actually find the original file of the actual Sibelius file, because I don't keep my stuff organized at all, and I didn't expect this to be happening. But I do have some images from the thumbnail. So here you can see the gradual swing percentages. I don't know, but anyways, it's like from quite straight and going to gradually very swung until you get to one crotchet, and this is like 50 or so variations of swing conceived as like notation. But there have been comments where people have went and actually calculated the percentage and the ratio, which is insane. That just gives me a headache, and it's not how I conceived of it at all, but it's actually really cool to see. So I'll probably put that on the screen somewhere once I've edited it, and you can just see what people have written. I don't know. What should we do? So I think instead of trying to actually analyze what I did with this LICC video, I'll try recreate it in some other fashion, because then I think you'll get a better sense of the decision making that I'm doing, rather than trying to look at this retrospectively like a year and a bit later. So let's just pick some random instruments. Let's go all. Let's go. Let's go. No, yes, let's put a kit in it though, just so. And a bass, just because we love that bass. Yeah, that won't do. Do you want anything else? That's a really weird ensemble, but let's just go with it. So basically, I mean, it doesn't have the lick was just kind of like I need some melodic things to kind of latch onto for this experiment. But I mean, I don't really care for the obsession with the lick at all, to be honest. But it's just a group of notes, isn't it? So the way I actually did the gradual swing thing is really underwhelming, and I feel bad for the people who went and worked out all the percentages and ratios, because it was not that thought through. But let's see. I'm gonna make this dry as well because I hate that reverb. So there's a neat little thing on Sibelius where you are. It tells you where you are in the bar. So bar 1, beat 1, and also the time code as well. So in the when it gives you the beat, it does this to 2 decimal places. So you see there is 1.75 on this note here. Let's go small. This is a 512th note. So if we keep going forward, So probably it's moving. It's definitely moving on the third decimal place, but you can't see it because. So sometimes it stays on one decimal, on the 10th decimal place for 2 notes or so. So basically, if we're gonna go, let's do something straight. So that's super straight. That's as straight as you can be. And then, so what I'm gonna do now is find a note that is 1.5 at beat 1.51. That's too late. That's still too late. That's still too late. That's still too late. So I could use that one. And that's really annoying to read. So that works. That's one very slightly after where this note should be. So the way I'm thinking of it is, it's like the notes on beats 1 and the notes on every beat is staying in the same place, but then we're just moving the beat on the and ever so slightly, ever so slightly, ever so slightly, and it's sort of I find this much more intuitive than kind of thinking of it as like ratios or percentages, because it's you don't listen to music and go like, oh yeah, that's like a 4 against 5 sort of swing. Yeah, it's kind of like you're just kind of moving notes around manually. It's like sort of geometry rather than ratios or fractions. But for the LICC video, I used this sort of notation. But I mean, as you've seen here, there's multiple ways I could do it, and I don't need to go through all 50 of them. But I think one interesting one is this one here. For example, not particularly interesting, but just example. So, as I'm pretty sure you're all aware, we've had a terrible case of the virus in the past year or so, maybe 2 years actually. And so what's this meant for a lot of us musicians is that we can't perform live, we can't perform with people. For me in particular, I only had access to an electric piano, so any kind of analog live sound is kind of, I kind of missed that for quite a while, and then coming back to like a real acoustic piano or acoustic live music is very strange. But that's besides the point. So when we're playing with notation software, it sounds very mechanical and kind of almost like video game music, and this is neither good nor bad, but that's the sort of the nature of the beast. But a few fun things to note about live musicians is that they never play anything in time and they never play anything in tune. Like if we really want to get like very specific, so what this means then, if I'm going to make something via notation software to sound human, is that I need to find, where the rhythm is concerned, I need to find a way to make this sound human, and what are some rhythmical behaviors that people do whilst they're playing. And a strategy I've come up with for that is to use nested tuplets. So basically the concept for this is quite simple. So if we just start with a really simple one, and I'm going to actually add in the ratios for this because it just makes it a bit easier to read. So here, I'm sure most of you know, this is 3 crotchets against 2 crotchets. So let's do, no, that's dumb. Let's do this instead. And then let's add a bass drum. So we got 2 crotchet bass drums at the bottom, and then 3 hi-hats against that. So 3 against 2. So it's basically just a way of compressing notes within a space. So if we take the concept again, we can do something like 5 against 4. It sounds like that. When we can go even further. So imagine if, so we're just gonna just light speed this concept into something that I kind of think about more often. So imagine if you're playing in a group and it has this kind of pushing forward feeling, but it's never actually accelerating. It just feels like it's constantly ahead of the beat a little bit. Something like that I would do. So I'll just add in the beat. And often, sometimes as well, the snare won't be coming on exactly the second beat. It was in like 4/4 kind of thing. So I'm just going to add it on like very slightly after, because I think that's a bit more groovy. This is like more into personal preference territory rather than like, I don't know. But it also makes it sound more human as well. But anyway, we're going to make this sound more like it's pushing forward. So that means the tempo is going to be the same, but that we need to kind of compress the notes within a certain space. So I'm going to use 2 crotchets here, and I'm going to do something with these. So if it was like notated as it was on like as it would be in like a band part or orchestral part, for instance, it will probably be more something like this. And then you'd find the groove by playing with your musicians and doing it this way. But then I think another way to do it is I would do this. So I can't do maths anymore. 16. So there'll be 16 30-second notes in that space. And let's see what would happen if I just put 17 against that. But I'm going to still make these 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe just make this nice like that. Okay. So let's see what this sounds like. Yes, it's kind of really crude, but it's sort of a way to manage sort of more human nuance that, you know, if it was just this. And then just do you know, if it's just this, it's very different feel. So that's kind of how I found things like this. And so when I was kind of going in via the like finding more variants of the swing, strategies like this was also very helpful. Anyway, going back to the swing, so someone asked about reverse swing, and as a performance concept, I think this probably makes more sense, but in terms of what I'm doing, it doesn't make any sense. Because, as I said, the swing concept is more about where this second note is placed on the and. Oops. Where this second note is placed on the and then just kind of finding a rhythmical place to kind of shift this more closer to the next beat. But then reverse swing would just kind of move it the other way. It would just kind of move it more this way. So, whereas swing is sometimes this, a reverse swing of that would be this. I don't know. But then we can find gradients within that reverse swing. So no, yeah. So we're using 5 against 4 for this one, or this. So immediately kind of like finding very particular grooves by doing this. So now that I've explained the sort of technicalities of it, the swing thing, and the rhythm, might be good to also go over how I go about this in like a arranger composer context, and also with this weird ensemble, because this will definitely create some weird, fun eccentricities, I guess. So I won't do it to the lick because it's been done. I'm thinking maybe do something to the theme of Beethoven 5, because that is significantly less popular. I quite like this little groove thing I found of like the reverse swing, and I am going to just add dynamics like crazy to this. Yeah. And so here, I have about I have exactly five 30-second notes to fit within this space, and I want to kind of still thinking about that human feel, and the fact that people don't really play in time as such. So what I'm going to do is something also fun to do with the time signatures that I didn't do in the LICC video is that sometimes musicians might give it a little bit, slightly more space within a bar. So I'm going to do this rather than 4/4. I'm going to do 65/64. So I'm adding 1/64th rest at the end of this bar, and I'm doing this also because I want to compress. I want to do something a little bit different here. So let's do 3 against 5. So if this kind of notated normally, this would be 4/4. You wouldn't see the 9/8 there. It's just be 8th notes or quavers, and these would just kind of be your bog standard 16th note or semi-quaver triplets. But here, I just want to check the tempo. Wee bit too quick. So let's do. Let's try that. And just kind of to be a bit crazy. Let's just see what this sounds like when it's on a bit of a loop. Actually, I think it might be better to so this won't play that bad. Yeah. So it's kind of got like a very janky feel, I think, and I think if there's multiple ways to go about this, I prefer making decisions arbitrarily and very quickly, and I kind of think because it's music, it's sound, and particularly with like no lyrics or words, anything can work. And it's a bit of I think it can be a cop out, but I think if you actually commit to this idea, it can work really well, and it can also be quite funny. I'll do that. I don't know. So basically, my strategy is more to just find think something to decide on, and then just kind of go for it wholeheartedly. Because even if it doesn't work aesthetically or kind of, I don't know, morally or artistically or whatever, the sort of commitment will see it through. And then I think that sort of, if you're committed to doing it, it will just work, even if the effect might be not what you expect at all. So we're going to make this Beethoven 5 somehow. I don't know why. Let's alternate between 4/4 and 65/64. And 2 against 5 for this little baby. And then we can just do and because also I'm doing this as like a demonstration, I'm going to kind of rush through a lot of decisions and kind of make this a bit simpler for myself. So as you see, I'm just going to be copying and pasting this sort of loop. It's fine. It's fine. Another thing I like to do is kind of work in how many seconds have passed, and for how long it takes for an idea to sort of settle. So generally, musical ideas take at least 30 seconds to be understood, but it depends on a range of parameters as well. So how dense the idea, how much information there is in the idea. If it's quite minimalistic, then maybe you don't need that much time to develop it. But then that also depends on how you want the kind of atmosphere of the piece to be. So I want this to be kind of a bit weird and Zappa-esque, and I don't know, just kind of convey my chaotic energy sincerely. So let's try. So here we've got 8, we've got 9, 9 64th notes, I think. So I want to just make that into 8, because we're also working with an extra 64th note in the type signature. So and then let's do so we're kind of gradually revealing this Beethoven 5 motif. So it's very goofy. It's so goofy. I kind of love it. and then we've also got some other things here. Why? No, don't do that. So let's look at I'm going to use this as a sort of palette now, because I've already made it and I kind of sort of remember things I quite like. So I quite like this quintuplet swing. I quite like this 11 as well. That 15 is quite nice, and that, yeah, we're already using that 9. So right now we are working between the 5 and then 8, and the 9, the 5 against 4 and the 9 against 8. So I don't want to. I should find something in between those swings, so I'm not kind of making it too chaotic. So I think a nice one that'll just also make this easier to notate would just be that septuplet. So that's what I'm going to go for, and hopefully this will work. And let's do the reverse swing on this one as well. I kind of want this a bit slower actually, so 9, 8, 16, 17. So let's just make that into 15 against 17. Let's just make this is kind of go a bit nuts. No. 15 against 17, that's okay. So I think also this will let's do this instead. And then how many seconds in are we here? So we're kind of nearing the 30-second mark, and I think this is because we're also already building the texture from I guess 6 seconds in, and we'll sustain the idea that this texture is going to keep building, and this might be a nice time to kind of gradually change the harmony and kind of build it towards something. A sort of culmination at 30 seconds or so, which is there. Perfect. So we're going to just keep the harmony really simple because I don't want to spend my whole life on this. Maybe just kind of change this around a little bit. And then let's do 5 again, 4 against 5. Ah! We'll just kind of develop this motif a little bit. And because it's quite scalic, this thing, it'd be quite nice to kind of expand the sort of cosmology of this idea. So like now we're introducing the idea like this thing can actually break apart and become much more angular. But we're going to still maintain the sort of voice leading. So what I'm going to do here, they'll sort of break off into 2 parts. So the top line will kind of move down and the bottom line will kind of move up. So then it will kind of converge into this singular line again. And maybe just kind of so let's do 3 against 5. And then we'll just kind of add some chords. And I can also, I think, it's add a bit of just density here. and just kind of keep doing this motif until we're sick to death of it. No, oh my god. And you're never gonna hear that, that's okay. And let's just check up on this, see how it's doing. Okay, that's really weird, really janky, but it's okay. Okay. I think we're kind of losing a bit here as well. And I think it might be good as well, just to kind of, because it's quite Foursquare-ish, Foursquare-ish. So let's just do that. Just kind of, yeah, quite nice if it's not all kind of omit some of the accidentals that probably should be there, just because it just makes it a bit more characterful. And let's make this the lead line now. So let's just do this turning in 7. Just make sure they're all going to be the same dynamic. And then just to make, thinking again about this pushing forward feeling. So I'm putting these semiquavers a little, it's the 1/64th note before where they ought to be. That'll do. Maybe let's do that. Let's double these two. And I think 33, 32. So I'm going to be adding I'm going to be splitting this bar into two parts. So there'll be a 64th note rest at the end of the fourth, after every four quavers. And that shouldn't affect this too much, to be honest. So then, if I do this, maybe let's go for something more swung here. So I said I quite liked that 11, so let's do that. What was it? Double. Let's do reverse into normal. And maybe no. That's not what I heard. And this will make this. We'll see what this sounds like. This is mostly just experimenting now. let's just see what it all sounds like so far. Yeah. I think I just need some more paddy sounds, so let's just do that. Okay. And let's just continue this. I want a piano now. I want a piano. That needs to pop out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make this a sus chord, because we're fancy. G, more G. Oh, C, a G. Make it dominant, baby. Yeah. And let's develop the hell out of this, so... Oops. This is gonna make it very gnarly. I know it. And then I'll just put this one here. And those dynamics are going to annoy me soon. And then screw it, don't care about those dynamics for some reason. And then we'll just kind of move the C's up. Move up to the F. And let's just accent these to make it sound like it's developing. I'm making this decision very quickly, but then thinking about what the ramifications of that could be is probably going to make it feel like it's going to push forward a bit. And maybe we want the tempo to increase ever so slightly. So 82. So let's add, make it 85. It might be slight, but you can definitely feel it. You can feel it, I assure you. And just to double in, make sure you'll definitely feel it by here. And we'll just kind of make this rock loud like that. And then we'll just kind of add some counterpoint here. And maybe refine the measurement to double this with is there anything here? Nah, let's not do that. Okay. Okay, that's very fun. That's all very, very fun. Let's simplify the kit part and just make it nice and easier for now. Let's just have a listen to this on its own actually, because I didn't actually check this. And then let's make this ever so slightly quicker. Whilst maintaining the quavers. So it's very slight, but I mean, in context, it'll probably sound more obvious. And let's just repeat this because we're lazy. But maybe let's copy this rhythm into the piano. Get rid of those. No, did not want to do that. Let's do it this way. Ah! Okay. Ah, I screwed that. I screwed that up real bad. Okay. And to maybe make this more human sounding, we could probably put this a little bit earlier to kind of make it sound like the players are responding to the urgency of the pulse. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 17. 15, 17. Double this. Okay. And then just kind of pump these up, pump the bass up a bit. And that can be a nice little transition to something. I'll leave it there for now, but I think I'll just kind of go over what would probably happen next. So because of the harmonic nature of this, it's quite simple. So the bass is more or less following the same as Beethoven 5, but then I'll probably move it up to F here and sort of play around in this harmonic territory. And because it's moving quite, there's quite a lot going on. And then this sort of happens a lot with my music anyway, but then there's the issue that in kind of fighting to make this as energetic as possible and as exciting as possible, it gets quite boring and quite annoying. And so finding a way to spice this up from this point would be quite would need a little bit more work. But there's also quite a lot to go off here. So the texture is building, the ensemble is getting bigger, and there's some more apparent things that are happening with the groove and the pulse as it goes on. And so this is something that would definitely become a feature later on should I continue going with this. As for some of these like choices, I'm sort of just playing around with kind of making this sort of feel not too mechanical, and it's in a way kind of within the uncanny valley where it's kind of sounding kind of human, but also kind of not. It's very bizarre, and I quite like that. It just kind of it sort of goes into a territory where live musicians can't quite probably get it through an improvisation. But also as like a compositional thing, I think it's really interesting. Just something that's not discovered for me, and that's what it comes down to. If you're making stuff that you like, then high probability that someone else will like it too. So just keep doing you, boo.